Hi Venkat, this is
Hi.
Subhamarjan. So, how is your day today? Sunday morning. How are you
Uh,
feeling?
Actually, it is my first mock interview, so I got up early. I prepared a little bit. I am feeling a little bit tense right now because I think, yeah, I was
Okay,
thinking about how to
so
go.
yeah, so your name is Nalani Venkat Harsa.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what is this nomenclature? Can you brief me a bit about your name?
Yeah, so it is a very interesting theory. Like, what South Indians generally do is first they have their surnames, which is Nallani. Nallani is my surname, and Harsha is my actual name. But what
Okay,
Venkata is taken from my father's name. So what we do is first we have the surname, then father's name, and our actual name.
okay, so I will call you Harsa.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Harsa. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Uh, I am in my final year of mechanical engineering at IIT BHU, and my specialization is industrial management. I come from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, and uh, a, a small fun fact about me is I learned Hindi before my mother tongue, so I can be considered half North Indian. I am proficient in English, Hindi, and Telugu. And coming to my college endeavors, so I have always been the person who likes to balance his academics and extracurricular activities. So I actively took part in various clubs and positions. I have worked as a marketing head of Team Trident. It is basically a group of automotive engineers who have built an all-terrain vehicle. So I used to do all the budgeting, and I was responsible in bringing all the sponsorships and stuff. I also worked as internal publicity executive at Kashi Yatra. It is a socio-cultural festival. I have also worked as a strategic relations executive at eCell or entrepreneurship cell. And coming to my professional experiences, I have worked as I interned at a small startup, a tech startup, which is called Student.in. I have worked as a product management intern, so I got to learn various handy skills there. I have also worked as a business development executive at another startup, which was named Growth Mart. And coming to my achievements, I have been the national finalist of the recent EXL case study challenge, and I have also been one of the top three students of more than 5,000 students participated in the International Amateur Mathematics Olympiad. Coming a little bit about my interests, so I have been very interested in analytics and product side of things, and also problem solving. And my hobbies are playing badminton and reading light novels.
Okay, that's great to know about you. It seems that you have a very dynamic profile. So you mentioned about being participant of sub Olympiad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you ranked third in that one.
Yes, sir.
So what was this Olympiad and when you appeared in this one?
It happened during my 10th class. So it basically covered all the math topics. It was not so advanced, but it used to test our conceptual backgrounds. So it was not so problem oriented, but it was conceptual. So there were three rounds. First round was we had to write a bit about our favorite topics, and the second round was actual Olympiad, which they were asking math questions. And the third round they had to it was a quiz type. So they released a list of finalists, and we had to quiz each other.
Okay, fine. So it seemed that you have a good interest in mathematics in your 10th standard. So why not some course in maths rather than doing mechanical engineering from IIT BHU?
Yeah, so as any other teenager kid, I was very interested in automobiles. So I was deeply interested in bikes and cars and vehicles at that time during my 11th, 12th. And the robotics used to fascinate me a bit. So I thought of taking like mechanical engineering rather than shifting it to any other maths related course.
Okay, then you started working on data analytics as well. So there's a shift in your interest throughout the time.
So I have always been a person who has multiple interests. So I am first data analytics was not a thing for me. I didn't even know what it was. So it was practically introduced to me in my third year. So basically it was a fun incident as well. Let me narrate you a small story. So while I was in my third year, a friend of mine walked to me and said, I am lacking a member for my team. I had to appear for this EXL case study challenge. All you have to do is you have to register with me. You don't have to do anything. So I was fascinated. I was okay, so I will help you out. So we went there. We registered for the EXL case study challenge. He got the problem statement. I saw it. So as I have earlier said, I very much liked problem solving. It was my first interest. Like whatever field it may be, I'm very much interested in solving problems, especially business problems. So it was a problem statement that we are given a data set, and we had to predict what are the credit frauds there. So first I was fascinated, and also the strategies that the banks can employ so that they can curb the frauds and all. So I was very much fascinated, but I didn't even know a single thing about what to proceed and how to go. I was always a conceptual person. So if we are given a business problem, what are the steps we can do? But given a actual data, what are the actual steps and what are the practicalities we have to follow? I didn't even know a single thing. But slowly and slowly it kindled my interest. So I got to learn machine learning, all the data related stuff. So that kindled my interest for data analytics, and now here I am.
Okay, so which machine learning algorithm is your favorite? Like the
My
one
favorite
which you
is
like?
simple and effective. I like linear regression because it is a very versatile algorithm. But normally, if I have to pick a algorithm which is my go-to algorithm, it would be random forest.
Okay, so what at the first place why you chose linear regression and why you chose random forest? Reasons behind that?
So I chose a linear regression because it is very simple, very effective, and very easy to understand. It basically, if there is a beginner and we have to suggest him an algorithm, if we give it to him a linear regression algorithm, I bet that he would definitely be interested in machine learning because it is such an amazing algorithm. It is very versatile and all. So I first picked it. But when it comes to practicality, I think I would vote for random forest.
Okay. Can you explain random forest to me, like in very basic terms?
Sure. So, first of all, let me start with decision tree. What a decision tree does is, if we give it to like decision tree, we can say that we have a node, we start with it, and all we have to do is do two bifurcations. Like we have to divide all the decisions into binary. So one step and another step. And if we come to the another node, we have to again split it into two different nodes and two different nodes. So here it goes. It is like a tree which is turned upside down. So first of all, there is a branch and we have the roots down. Normally, it is a tree with a trunk and the roots. If we visualize it upside down, it is practically a decision tree. So we have now understood what a decision tree is. So what it does is, a decision tree takes a data set. It tries to bifurcate into small chunks of data. It is like small chunks of nodes, so that we can easily understand. Let us say in n steps, we can have a basic understanding about, okay, if we divide the data in certain ways or certain steps, we can get a meaningful insight. So if this is about a decision tree. If what we can do is, a decision tree is not so effective. It is a very weak classifier. But what we can do is, we can take a numerous decision trees, we can train them. After then we can aggregate them, or we can back them into a forest. Let us say we have one tree which was very weak and all, but what we can do is, we can plant many trees, make it a forest, so that we have a bunch of weak classifiers which aggregates into a strong classifier. Do you want me to go on?
Okay, that's great information about decision tree and random forest. So I wanted to uh, uh, know about linear regression, and you have to explain it to me like in a very basic layman terms. What is a linear regression? What it does?
Sure. Starting with linear regression, before that, I would like to say that we all have always seen this, what we can say, straight line equation, right? A straight line
Yeah.
equation starts with y equals to mx plus c. So we can assume that we have only one independent variable there, which is x, and we plot it for various values of x, and we get a curve, or let us say a straight line, which is y. So here, what we are visualizing it, how are values of x varying, or how are values of x affecting our value of y. So what we can do is, let us take there are more values of, like there are more than one independent variables. Let us say it is x1, x2, x3, and so on, xn. So what we can do is, y equals to, y is our dependent variable here. It is k1 into x1 plus k2 into x2, so on, plus b, intercept. So here basically what we are doing is, we are trying to incorporate, or we are trying to formulate an algorithm which would incorporate all our data into a single straight line, so that we can visualize okay, for every change in x1, so let us say we are changing x1 by 1 unit, how much of an effect would it make on y, keeping that all the other variables are constant. So we can individually verify, okay, what is the effect of x1, what is the effect of x2. So basically what it does is we have taken all the independent variables, we have mixed it up, we have made an algorithm and a straight line equation. So whenever a data point comes in, we can impose it on the straight line, and we can check what is the value of our y would be. So is it okay, or do you want to?
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah, so that seems to be good, but and normally most of the data points, let's say even if you are predicting a variable, they do not seem to be in a straight line. There's always a
Yes.
curve. Uh, Sometimes the curve data goes up, sometimes goes down. So how does a linear regression performs in this kind of situation, and how it can help in developing a model?
Okay, first of all, linear regression works great when we have linear dependency among the independent and dependent variable. So if we have non-linear dependencies, so it would not be up to the mark. What it would try to make, that it would try to make this non-linear dependency into a linear one, and it would try to project. It may work or may not work. So now coming to the points of, you were saying about noise, right? So it is not always the case that our data points will lie on a same line. It would be above and below. So this can be considered as a noise. So what we are trying to do by our algorithm is, we generally want to have an idea about basic underlying dependency, and the other stuff like what is that the distance between that point and our straight line would be considered as a residue or noise. So basically we would try to make that this residue or this noise is minimized. We have to make a straight line such that all we can have a general underlying trend, so that we can get a general understanding about it, taking without taking the noise into consideration.
Okay. So how can we reach to that particular line, that particular coefficients, so that we are able to cover maximum noise or maximum data point, let us say. How
First
can
we
we reach?
can, yeah.
Yeah.
First we can initialize our line with random constants. Then we can calculate the residues, and according to it we can shift our line so that we are making our residues minimum at the end of the day by different iterations.
Okay. Okay. So do you have some understanding around algorithm like gradient descent, which is the
Yes, yes.
basis of this algorithm? Please explain me a bit about that.
So basically first we have that straight line, right? Sorry, give me a second.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah. So what we have done is, normally there is a we had a straight line, we have predicted a value, and we had that actual value. This is while we are training our algorithm. So what we have now is, we are predicting some value and we have a different actual value. So what we can do is, we can start by it was y equals to y minus.
Okay, no problem. We can skip the math. You have technical understanding of the thing. How is it happening? So that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay. Moving next to your projects, you have mentioned two projects in your resume. Which one you feel most confident about?
It is a customer segmentation one.
Customer segmentation, Starbucks customer segmentation using ML.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we solve a guesstimate here around
Yeah,
Starbucks?
sure. Sure, sure, sir.
Uh, so can you estimate uh, number of cups of coffee being sold? Where are you from, Harsha? You are from Vijayawada.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, Vijayawada is a big enough city, that as much as I know. So, can you estimate me number of cups of a Starbucks coffee, which will be being sold today, 21st November 2021?
Sure, sir. So just to make sure that I have got the question right. So
Yeah.
to reiterate, my question was to estimate the number of cups of coffee sold at a Starbucks outlet
Yeah, in Vijayawada today.
in a totality of Vijayawada. Okay.
Yeah, in total Vijayawada.
So first of all, I would like to
It seems to be some internet issues at my end, Harasa. Give me a moment.
sure. Sir.
Hello. Am I audible now? Give me a moment. Yeah, Harsa, we can continue.
Yeah. So I was saying that can we assume that there are three Starbucks in Vijayawada?
Uh, okay, you can have that idea, or you can assume it on based on the population. Or if you have, like, you are from Vijayawada, then you must have some rough idea about the number of Starbucks there.
Yeah. So we have three Starbucks in Vijayawada. So
Okay, fine.
yeah, I would like to start by approximating a number of coffee cups sold at one Starbucks outlet. After that, I would like to multiply it with three. So first of all, for a single Starbucks outlet, I would like to divide it into peak hours and not non-peak hours, because there is a vast difference between the number of coffee cups sold at peak hours and non-peak hours. So I would like to consider evening times to be peak hours. So let us take that between 5 to 7. These 2 hours are peak hours, and the rest of hours, that would be, let us say, a typical Starbucks starts at 10. From 10 to 5, it would be non-peak hours, and from 7, can we assume that a Starbucks closes at 7 o'clock, or do you want me to take it up to 9 o'clock?
I guess Starbucks are open till 9 or 10 p.m., so we can go until that
Okay.
time.
Okay, so let us take 5 to 8 to be peak hours, and 8 to 10 again to be non-peak hours. So we have a total of 7 plus 9 non-peak hours and 2 peak hours. Is it okay?
Your peak hours, you mentioned that is from 5 to 8, no?
Yes, sir.
So that's 3 hours.
Yes. Oh, sorry. 3 hours and 9 hours. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
No.
So during this non-peak hours, I would like to assume that, okay, a typical Starbucks has, let us say, about 8 tables or 10 tables on average. Is it okay to assume that? Or do you want me to take different types
Yeah,
of tables or?
uh, we can average out the number of people on a table.
Okay. So let us take that there are 10 tables in a Starbucks, and normal occupancy rate at the non-peak hours can be taken as, let us say, 40%. So we can take that for every hour there are 4 tables occupied. That is, and let us take the order time of a single coffee to be half an hour. So we are taking 8 orders for every hour. So we can take that for an order consists about 2 coffees on average. So that would come out to be 16 coffees in an hour. Is it okay?
Okay, fine. Go on.
So we have calculated it to be 16 coffees an hour. So, and we had 9 non-peak hours. So it would come out to be 144 coffees in non-peak hours. And peak hours, so let us take that for peak hours. All the tables are occupied, and also the average number of coffee cups per table is also 4. It is the maximum occupancy rate. So it would come out to be 40 and 80. 80 coffee cups in an hour. Is it okay to assume that?
Definitely, we can move on.
So it would come out to be 80 into 3, 240. 240 coffee cups during all the three peak hours. So the total comes out to be approximately 384. So we can round it off to 400 coffee cups. Sorry. So we are considering. Sorry, today is Sunday, right?
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
think. So I think this would have an effect. So we have taken it to be less of a number because we know that generally Starbucks would be crowded at Sundays, typically weekends. So this came out to be a calculation for a normal weekday. So I think we would have to change it for not typical weekend. So do you want me to add some extra, like add it 50%
Yeah,
extra, or do you want me to redo the
it
calculation?
will be fine. It will be fine if we increase it by some percentage, which just seems to be fine.
Okay, so let us increase it to be by 50%, or do you want me to lower the number?
50 works fine.
Okay. Normally it came out to be 400 coffee cups. If we increase it by 50%, it would come out to be 600. So a typical outlet in a single day sells about 600 coffee cups. So as we have already discussed that there are three Starbucks in Vijayawada. So it typically comes out to be 1800 coffee cups in a day. It would be somewhere along 1800. So between 1700 and 1900.
Okay, okay, fine. So you mentioned about three Starbucks in Vijayawada. Uh,
Yes.
what kind of city is Vijayawada? And don't we consider the factors that where that particular Starbucks is located? And they could have some difference in their location and the customers and everything else.
Right. So as you know that Andhra Pradesh has no actual capital as of now. So Amaravati is not so developed. So Vijayawada is a great capital of ours. We don't have a,
Mhm.
like, it can be considered the capital city of Andhra Pradesh. Like not officially, but it is the capital. So and the localities of the three Starbucks is we have major circles, right? There are centers. If you remember, like Lanka is a center. There the people are crowded. So there are more than three major areas. So all the three Starbucks are located at the different like major malls. Two are
Okay,
located at different malls, and one is located at a like majority people visit that center. So
okay, then we can
if
go with
you
the
want me
assumption
to, then
that
yeah,
yeah, that's fine. If all the three are located at a good same place,
yes, yes.
at same kind of place, then it's fine. Okay, Starbucks seems to be a major player in its domain. What is the USP of Starbucks? Like, why it is different from other chains in the same domain?
Okay. So first of all, coming up, like starting with the very start. So what Starbucks wanted to do was once actually let me tell you a very fun story about Starbucks. So its founder, we know that its founder it started this chain because he was frustrated about he didn't like that coffee. What he did was he always came from work. He used to visit a nearby cafe. He used to go there, but he didn't get that feel of home, or he didn't like that coffee. They were over roasting the beans. So what Starbucks does is it particularly has this what we can say it is very particular about their coffee beans and the degree of the roasting of the coffee beans and their quality of coffee. So what it does is it gives the premium feel of coffee along with the like normally Starbucks and CCD we know that it is for working people. Normally if we want to have a break or if you want to have a business conversation, people prefer cafes, especially Starbucks and CCD. So what it does is it gives a peaceful environment where you can enjoy the coffee and the taste of coffee is also very good. Basically the premium segment, and we all know that
Okay.
Starbucks coffee is also expensive.
Okay, so still manage to be expensive and they are able to
Yes.
capture a good segment of market. What reasons, apart from coffee, what could be the other reasons uh, affecting a lot of people going to these coffee shops rather than preferring something which is at much lesser cost? Apart from
So
that
one
premium
of the
feeling, what else they do?
yes, I got your question. I think so. One of the major reasons or one of the obvious reasons is status symbol. So if you buy a coffee at Starbucks, it is more of a stature than buying a coffee at a local cafe, even if the coffee tastes better. So one of the major reasons is obviously stature symbol, and the other is you can get a peaceful environment. We can see
Yeah.
that every Starbucks has very good ambience.
Yeah, definitely. Ambience. Okay, they even have their own app, and apart from that,
Yes,
they also provide personalized things like they write the name of the person on the
right.
coffee mugs. That's a unique thing. Suggest one company which is trapping them, as you have good interest in business, that's why that is having a good capture in market, and they also offer premium products.
Apple.
Okay. So Apple is one of them. So can you do a comparison between Starbucks and Apple and their business? Like what are the similarities, though they are from very different sector, but how they matches each other?
Okay, sure. So can you give me a moment so that I can write down my thoughts?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we have discussed about Starbucks, so let us discuss a bit about Apple. So then we can do the comparison. Starting with Apple, we
Okay.
all know that Apple is a very like a very dominating country, sorry, dominating company. So uh, well, we all know that it was the first to enter the market of phones, right? Even if Motorola was the first company, it was the first to establish phones for actual people, like for the actual civilians or the personal phones. So it was an early entry for the phones market, and it has always been the one to provide unique products. It has always been the one to adapt themselves to the market. It has always been the one to constantly upgrade or update their products. It has always tried to bring out new products. It started with iPads, iPods. After that, it went to iPhones, iMacs, and everything. So, and so that's all about the background of Apple. Now we can start with the comparison. As we all know that Starbucks is not such a typical example for early entry. It came out in somewhere in the between. But Apple had the first movers advantage. And the other is Apple always offers unique products. Starbucks, we can see that there is something unique about their quality of say like quality of coffee beans or everything, but it is not so unique. So they are the same typical products. And the other thing is both of the companies we can observe that they are totally focused about personalizing their products. So you raised a very interesting point about how Starbucks writes the name on the coffee mug. So it makes the customers to feel more close or more attached to the Starbucks name. And the Apple themselves also they try to personalize their products for the sake of customers. And the other is brand recognition. We know that both of them, being the premium segment companies, so they both have a very great brand value and brand recall value. Both of the companies have great brand recall values. And the other thing is they both of them are costly, yet people prefer them over the other same similar options. Did I miss anything?
No, it's going in the right direction. Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. Uh, so you have mentioned in the project that you used uh, k-means to cluster some 17,000 customers, and in one of the project you have mentioned about KNN as well. Can you
Yes, sir.
tell me the difference between these two algorithms?
Yeah. So starting with the K-means, which I have used in the customer segmentation project. So K-means is an unsupervised learning algorithm. So it is unsupervised. So what we do is we give a number which is K. So and it starts like it tries to cluster all the data into K different clusters. But now coming into KNN, what KNN is? KNN is a supervised learning model, and what it does is if we feed it a number K, so it would try to take up K nearest points to it.
Okay, so what's the
Is it
difference
okay?
between
Or
supervised and unsupervised learning?
so in supervised learning, we start with a label data. So we already have a label data where we know the output or we know the outcome which we have to predict. But in unsupervised data, we only have the data, and we have to the our computer or our algorithm has to learn the underlying meaning by itself. There is no such label data as to what it has to do. Uh, do you want me to add
Okay,
something?
which particular, yeah, no, which uh, out of both these projects, which you felt was on the more tougher end?
Customer segmentation, actually. My
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So my reason
So you
being
have used,
normally.
mhm.
Yes, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
go on.
I was
Yeah, so
saying that
reason being,
I felt that the customer segmentation project was tougher on the tougher end because it was related to insights and not actual implementation. Because if we have to implement models, everyone can do that. But if we have to take the data and we have to infer from something from it, or we have to make inferential reports about it, so I think it should be somewhat difficult for normal people to adapt to it.
okay, that's nice. So you are capable to generate insights from the things which are available.
Yes, sir, I feel so.
Okay, nice, that's great. Uh, so when you mentioned that thing, uh, a question popped my mind. Uh, okay, so you have a quadratic equation uh, in the which is of the form x square plus x plus 1 equals 0. uh, Roots of this equation are alpha and beta.
Okay.
Now you have to provide me the value of alpha plus beta.
-1.
Okay. Now let us move on to higher degrees. I want value of alpha plus alpha square plus alpha cube plus beta square plus beta cube.
Can you give me a minute so that.
Yeah, please.
0.
Okay, can you tell me the logic?
I started off with, like, you have gave me the question that alpha plus alpha square plus alpha cube plus beta square plus beta cube. So I
Mm-hmm.
divided it into three groups, which is alpha plus beta, alpha square plus beta square, and alpha cube plus beta cube. So alpha plus
Okay.
beta, we all know the value of alpha plus beta, which is -1. And I wrote alpha square plus beta square to be alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. And alpha cube plus beta cube to be alpha plus beta whole cube minus 3 alpha beta into alpha plus beta. And we know that alpha beta value is 1 and alpha plus beta is -1.
Okay, fine. Seems good. Yeah, so we were on the algorithm, the project Starbucks customer segmentation. You have mentioned about feature engineering and PCA in that project. Give me a brief about these two terms and why you use these as well.
Yes. So starting off a little bit of background about the Starbucks data. So we had three different data sets. So one was portfolio, and the other, sorry, one second. Yeah. So one was portfolio, which had all the details about all the offers, and one was transcript, which had all the details about all the transactions of the people, and the other was customer details. So we had these three different data sets, and we had to infer all the insights of business from all these three different data sets. We had to club them, we had to merge them, we had to change everything so that we can infer something insightful from all these. So what I did was I took all these three data sets and I arranged them in an order. And after that, so basically we had the offers, three different types of offers. So what I did was, so like not doing the one hot encoding, I took this all three different types of offers, which had even different distinctions in them. So I made them into separate groups or separate columns. Means I added even more features into them so that I could infer something out of it. So I actually when they gave me some like 38 features, so I made it around 98 features. So I increased the number of features so that we can have something inferential from it. So there I used my feature engineering knowledge. And coming to the principal component analysis. So principal component analysis is a technique of dimensionality reduction. So basically what dimensionality reduction is, we have to reduce a high dimensional data set into a low dimensional one without losing the variance of data. So like we have to preserve uh, as much as originality of the data as we can, but we also have to uh, decrease the number of dimensions simultaneously. So what principal component analysis does is, so just to give you a simple idea about principal component analysis, first we have to plot all these points. We have all these data points. So we plot them in an n-dimensional space. And what we do is we search for a single line, a separate line, which can explain our data at most. We have to search for a single line which can explain most of the variance as it can. After that, what we do is we try to find different orthogonal lines to the line we have found out, and we we infer from it. So how much of the additional variance it is going to explain. So and basically what we are underlying here is, so we are searching for different axes. Like we are shifting this n dimensional data into k dimensional data where k is less than n, so that we can preserve most of the data, but we are reducing the dimensions as well. Do you
Okay.
want me to go into details of
No,
how
no, that,
we are searching for the axis?
no, no, that's fine. That's fine. Uh,
Okay.
okay. Uh, So at first place, you were increasing number of variables from 38 to 90, I guess, something like that. And
Yes,
then you
sir.
are reducing the variables. Why we are doing this kind of thing?
Yeah. So first of all, so our data was in the form that, okay, so what type of offer was it? How much of reward is it getting to the customer? How much of the difficulty it is to implement, and different types. So, but it is very hard for our algorithm to infer that, okay, so this is buy one get one offer, and it costs us 10 rupees, and it is giving a reward of 7 rupees. So it is very difficult for the algorithm to for the same. But so what I did was I differentiated all the offers differently. I made a column that, okay, this customer received this particular offer, that is buy one get one free, which was rewarding $5, and it took 7 days for us to implement it, and it cost us $10. The other one was different. So let us take it is 10 5 7. 10 is our reward, 5 is the number of days it takes us, like it the offer is valid for, and 7 is the difficulty of it. 10 5 7. There is another similar buy one get one offer which is 10 8 7. and 1097, 101010. So we have to differentiate between these three offers because we have to look at it subjectively at the end of the day while we are making the business inferences. So I increase the number of features to make a distinction, and after that I reduce them so that we have the all the data knowledge, but we are only doing it in a lower dimension.
Okay, okay. Okay, so how you manage this particular step? Like how you divided 10, 10, 10 in three columns?
Yeah, so there are, as I have said, we had the transaction data. So in the transaction data, we had a column where it showed, okay, this was the offer received at a particular time, offer received at a particular time, the offer was viewed by the customer, and a particular time the transaction was done, and a particular time the offer was availed. So we have four different types of transactions. So I made a column of, okay, BOGO 557 was received. BOGO 559 was received. Similarly, BOGO 557 was availed. BOGO 557 was transacted. So these would come out to be different columns for the same person.
Okay, fine. So you were mentioning that let's say 557, you divided it into three columns, na? One column would be like 5 days for transaction, 5 days, $5 would be the offer amount, $10 would be the amount that we have to pay. So let's say I have 5 comma 5 comma 7 in one of my column. How can you make three column out of it with one column having 5, another column having 5, and another column having 7 as a value? That is what I wanted to know. Are you clear with the question?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Okay, so one of my column is having values 5, 5, 7, 5 comma 5 comma 7. Now I want three columns. Column A will be 5, column B will be 5, column C will be 7. So how can you handle this kind of data?
Yeah, so let us consider the first column was in a form of list. So what we can do is we can make a separate, like let us say df as our original data frame. So we can take that the df of this column name. The zeroth element would be, we can assign the name BOGO 557. BOGO 557 received is equals to df of column name of zeroth element. After that the first element and the second element. We can have the like indexing. We
Okay,
can do indexing.
okay, fine, fine. And how can we do this in MS Excel if there's a requirement? Try to think about some logic if you are not sure about the exact functions.
Okay, sir. Can you give me a few moments so that I can start some thoughts?
Yeah, definitely.
So I would try to split it with a comma.
Okay, fine. So how will you do that?
I can think of a way to write this code in Python, but as of now, I couldn't think of
Yeah.
anything in MSX.
Okay, okay. So let us try to solve it. In Python, we have a great help that we can have loops,
Split function.
but
Yes.
there, yeah, but that's not the case in MS Excel, obviously. But still, uh, let us try to move into something you have mentioned about comma. Like you can use comma. So what you can do, you have two comma out there. What next you can think of? Just try to give me some logic, functions, and everything else. It's fine. Okay, no problem. There's a function called find. We can use it to find a comma, and there's function called start and end. So we can start from one point and we can look for the first comma, and then something around substring could be used. Okay, fine, no problem. uh, So now moving on to your internship, you have mentioned about two internship. Again, I will ask the same question: which one would prefer? Which one you liked more?
And my answer would be similar because I would always answer with the one which was very difficult for me and which had more learning for me. So it would be product management intern.
Okay. So can you brief me a bit about this particular product, student.in?
Yes, sir. So basically, Student.in is a mother company which has different products. So the one I was dealing with was a franchisee-based offering. So what we did was we had a collaboration with a school of Varanasi. So it is named Little Flower House. It is one of the top schools of Varanasi, which is 50 years old. So we had a collaboration with them. So our product will be offering a franchisee of Little Flower House along with all the uh, technical support of the student.in. We'll be supporting student. We will be supplying the schools with the students app, teachers app, and ERP, resource planner, and the franchisee of LFH, Little Flower House. So this is a
Okay.
background about our product. Yes.
What was your particular role in this particular work?
Yes. Exactly, this product was very new. So it is in the nascent stage. So I had to build it from the scratch. So from the day zero. So particularly I had to increase the client base, I had to do the market research, I had to manage all the teams, cross-functional teams. I had to make sure that all our targets are fulfilled. I had to make sure that we are onboarding some schools so that we can make revenue. These were
Okay,
some of the key
so
responsibilities.
okay, that seems to be a lots of responsibilities in a 2 month time span. Uh, how much would you rate yourself on a scale of 10? How much would you rate yourself on your internship? You can
Uh,
take two, three parameters like as well. Meeting deadlines could be the one. Uh, Number of hours being put in the work, number of ideas. How much would you rate, or you can simply rate your overall internship uh, on a scale of 10? And I
I
want it
would
from the
rate
perspective of the student dot in, let's say CEO or CTO. You are reporting it to him.
your voice is breaking.
Yeah, you have to report this number to the CEO of student dot in.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that perspective. Yeah.
I guess I would rate my intern to be a 9. Hello.
Yeah, Harsa, my connection got disconnected. Can you please repeat? I listened till 9.
Yeah, so I would rate my internship from the perspective, I would rate my internship. I'm not able to hear you.
I am extremely sorry. Again, my Wi-Fi stuck at that point only. Okay, fine. Let it be. Uh, so, Harsha, it seems that, yeah, Harsha. Are you there? It seems that there's a problem in my internet,
Yes, sir.
I guess. So let that question be. So Harsha, it seems that you like to work in a fast-paced environment, and you also have internship in a startup as well. And you know we are a well-established company. Uh, there are some times where we will be going with slow pace because we have to carry a very big team, and we are looking at the bigger picture. So how will you tackle these scenarios? I see it seems that it will be difficult for you to be part of this kind of system.
No, actually, I feel that I am a very adaptable person. There are various instances of myself being very adaptable. So, and you would have known by now that I am a pretty, I am the one who seeks challenges, and challenges fascinate me very much. So, if it poses a challenge, I would be up for it, and I would give my best so that I could tackle that challenge.
Okay, but again, during the interview, you seem to be answering most of the questions, and you were quite confident, which I liked. Uh, but I felt that you are overqualified for this position.
No,
So,
I don't think I am overqualified for the position. I feel that it is best for the company and for myself that I can give my best and I could use all of my knowledge for the betterment of the company and for sake of generating impact. And it would also be a very good opportunity for me, so that I have always been in a startup environment. I have always been in a fast paced environment, and it would be a very much of a learning experience for me to experience these kind of experiences where I am in an established company where there are experienced people for me to guide. And like they would be guiding me, and their wisdom speaks for itself, right? They are very wisdom, they are experienced. So I think it would be a very much of an enriching experience for me, which would be very different and beneficial.
okay, any other section of your resume which you want to discuss?
Yeah, I guess PORs, my college experiences.
Okay. So, what was the best learning from your POR? What was the best thing about the position of responsibilities that you held?
Uh, Pun intended. uh, the most important learning for me from PORs was responsibility itself. It was my first time handling a responsibility. I felt that weight, how it feels to adapt to a responsibility, how to bear a responsibility, and how to live up to expectations, how to be in pressure, how to handle pressures. And at the end of the day, when you look back and see, it is the impact of your work. You have done something for this to be happening. It is a very delightful experience.
Okay, Harsha. So it seems that you like to have responsibilities, and you have taken them in earlier, and you like to be in the position that things depends on you. You have the authority of the things. Okay. One last question from my side. Uh, so as we have US clients, as our company deals with US client, and sometimes we have to stretch our working hours to the later part of the day. So how comfortable you feel about working late or sometimes working on weekend, and what is your take on this? What is your personal take? That also matters.
One of the perks of studying at IITs or any other BTech colleges is that the first thing hostel teaches a student is to wake up at night, because all the fun and all the enjoyment happens at night. So we have been accustomed to waking up at night. So I don't think it would be much of a problem, as I feel that I would like to enjoy my work. I would be immersed in the work, and I wouldn't even feel itself as a burden. I would be enjoying it. So I think it won't be a problem for me to wake up at night or handle work at irregular hours.
Okay, and what about weekends? So how much would you like it?
Uh, Coming to personal preference, and I feel that I would be completing all my work beforehand. I am a very hardworking person, so I think I can complete all the works beforehand. But even if the work demands it, or if the company demands for me to work at weekends, I would be very happy to work. I have no such qualms about working at weekends.
Okay, fine. Okay, Harsha, thanks a lot. It was great interviewing you. Do you want to ask me a few questions? You can assume that I'm working at Mastercard or some other company where you have been shortlisted.
Yes, sir. Certainly. I have a few questions. So first question was, so are there any upcoming projects or any new projects that you have been working on? Or yes, sir.
Okay. So right now, I am working on a project where I have to prioritize the. So currently, my client is based on US healthcare, and they are dealing with lots of care delivery organizations, and they have lots of members around them. So as you must be aware, the US healthcare system is completely structured, and even every other person have one or another health insurance. It's not like the condition in Indian system.
Yes.
So That's a billions of dollars of industry, and our company, our client is one of the leader in that industry as well. So they have a good chunk of customers. Customers are also referred as members in their system. So these members have some medical history which is there in their charts, so that there's a thing called medical charts, so they have all their medical history over there. So there's a risk score attested or attached to every member who are part of the system, so that so this particular program is for people belonging to Medicaid Advantage program, in which they are mostly people with 65 plus age. So the government, our organization have to provide them the risk score of that particular person, and the US government provide us amount based on that risk score. So again, what is important here is that we should be able to completely judge the risk of a person. And now, coming to how we calculate their risk, there are various factors. The major being the claims that they submit. So let's say a patient goes to hospital and then he gets checked up or he gets some operation, and then then he submit a claim. He or his provider. Provider means the doctor submits the claim, and based on that claim we can say yes, this person has this disease, and this is his risk score. But again, sometimes few of the claims are not processed, or even after claiming, let's say at 1 year a claim was processed, but there are some chronic diseases like diabetes or something like that, which in that case he could be having a operation last year but not this year, but still that diabetes is a risk to that particular individual. So we have another system called chart review, where we study the chart of that person from the very beginning to the end, and we provide the various disease in some coding system that they have. So eventually the whole thing is that, let's say we have 10 million customers. So out of these 10 million customers, we can't directly uh, study the chart of all these people. So what we are doing, we are building based on patients past history, based on his claims data and everything else. We are building a model, a machine learning model, based on which we can prioritize which chart to be coded. So out of 10 million we can prioritize 1 million chart, and that is helping a lot in saving a lot of revenue. Like each chart which is coded, they cost us around 30 to $40. So our expectation here is that if we are coding a chart in a $30 price, then it should be at least giving 100 or $200 of value from it. So that's one of the project that we are working on.
It is a certainly very great project to work on. And my another question was, what are your upcoming strategies or any implementations in India? What are your
Okay, the senior leadership are always looking to explore various market, but again, the structure of healthcare in India is very far behind the US based system, and again, there are lots of things that we have to go on, including the government policies and everything. So definitely, at this point of time, we are not looking at the Indian market. Having said that, I'm not saying that we are not exactly looking at it, but definitely we have an established system in the US market. So whenever the time comes, we will definitely enter the Indian market as well.
I also look forward to you entering the Indian market. And that was all for my questions. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. It
thank
was
you,
pleasure being interviewed by you.
thank you.
भैया